Hello Pisces, welcome to this reading. We're going to be taking a look at the current energy for the sign of Pisces for the rest of 2022. So this will cover the period of time between now, here in August, and all the way through to December 31st. Do keep in mind that this is a general reading, so take the messages as they resonate, drop the ones that do not, and also check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. Let's go and see what we have here for you, Pisces. Now I am using the Gilded Tarot, the Kipper Oracle deck, as well as the Keepers of the Light Oracle deck. There are links to all of these decks in the description below if you'd like to pick them up for yourself. Let's go and get everything in view here. All right. Looks good enough to me. We'll go and take 3 of these Oracle cards. Oh, 4. I guess we're going to take 4 for you, Pisces. Then we'll take 3 of these Kipper cards. And I'll also take 3 tarot cards to clarify as we go along. I think we're all looking good here. So, energy on the bottom. You have the 3 of Swords. So, 3 of Swords is about separating from something in your life. This is a card that's heavily associated with like divorce, separation, breakup. However, this can also be a card of, it's really about anything that is emotionally challenging. Okay, this is a card really that talks about broadly emotional release. Okay, so some of you, this could really just be the act of crying when you get the 3 of Swords, or like going through something that's very emotional. So obviously it can represent a breakup, but it can also be other things in life. Really, the 3 of Swords is anything that breaks your heart. It can indicate other people. You do have... Now listen, I'm going to find the positive in this reading. It's not as challenging as the Gemini reading, I'll tell you that much, Pisces. But for this next, Geminis, man, if you have any Gemini in your chart, I would check that out. But now listen, so you have the 3 of Swords, you have the 3 of Cups, and you have the 7 of Swords, which is a combination of potentially a third-party situation. 3 of Swords on its own is not a third party, but when you get it combined with something like the 3 of Cups and then throw on the 7 of Swords as well, that can certainly mean that there might have been cheating that happened, or something along those lines, something involving another person or a third party, as it were, when you get the 3 of Swords. So that could certainly be something that's here. Now, it could be in the areas of your fears. Some of you could be fearing that situation because of where the 3 of Cups is placed. That certainly could be the case. But let's just go ahead and let's dive in and get some additional messages here. Now, in the current situation or the overall situation, you have the Death card. So this is not about death and dying. This is about transforming something in your life. Okay, the Death card represents a change. This is the biggest card of change in the tarot. And change is scary. Going through a transformation can be painful. It can be scary. But it's ultimately a necessary part of the Fool's journey or the hero's journey through the tarot, through the major arcana. And all of that is a metaphor for your life. Ultimately, transformation and change is a necessary part of your life, Pisces. And the worst thing you could do when you get the Death card is to resist. Okay? What is that phrase? Was it Carl Jung who said, what you resist persists? What you resist persists. I think it was him. And it's like, that's something that I felt like saying with the Death card here for you, Pisces. And, you know, when you get something like this, it's best to just, I don't think allow everything to happen is the right word, but to be flexible and be adaptable in the face of change, I think is probably the right way that I would describe the sort of antidote, or the best way to handle the Death card, is to be adaptable and flexible, because change is inevitable, and it's something that we do have to sort of kind of go through a constant process of, right, in this experience. In the problem position, you have the 8 of Pentacles. So some of you here, this is interesting. I'm not faced with the 8 of Pentacles in the problem position very often. This is actually for me a very good card. However, In the problem position, the Eight of Pentacles can say that you are so tied to your work that you are missing out on something. The Eight of Pentacles person has a hard time with dating because they are dating their work. They're in a relationship with their work. They would rather spend all of their time doing their projects and doing their work and building their business. As you can see here, represented in the illustration, which is this person, it's like nighttime, right? And this person is still continuing to work. All of their other creations are on the ceiling above them, and they are still hard at work. And so that's very good because it means that this person makes progress. And obviously hard work is a good virtue to have. And it can, be a virtue of success. But if it's hard work at the expense of your health or at the expense of maybe somebody else or your relationships, that can be a problem. And that certainly could be the case. Now, this could also talk about how, by the way, it's the biggest card of a talent in the tarot, if I haven't already said that, like having a talent, gift, skill, ability. Now, as this is paired here with the Death card, it's possible that there are changes in your work situation. This would be larger, like environmental changes. Okay, so what I mean by that is like, I don't know, your company could get bought out and then there's like new management that comes in, or you're I don't know, like let's say you're like a TikTok star and like the algorithm changes or something, like, and I don't know, or maybe they're like brand deals, or like there's something going on broadly. It could bring broad changes to your industry or to your organization. This could certainly, like, the nature of your work could be changing. And again, this is where you go into this idea of being flexible, adaptable, and ready to kind of take the change head on. Now, in the past, you have the World card. The World is the completion of a major cycle. It's a strong card, powerful card, because it is the last card in the major arcana. It's actually a very positive card, powerful, but very positive, because it suggests that you are at the top of the world. You have gone through some sort of, you've achieved something big. You've gone through this huge journey on your path, and you've completed something important. It is the closing of a chapter. It also is Saturn energy. Saturn asks you to do the hard work as a planet. It asks you to do the hard work. Saturn is in our natal chart to remind us of the sort of kind of mundane yet important parts of our life. And it's important, and how it's important not to kind of ignore those areas of your life. You got to pay taxes, for example. Nobody wants to pay taxes, but you got to pay taxes, for example. Doing those sorts of things. And so, but it says that you can successfully do those with the World card. And the idea is that Saturn represents bigger energies, right? It's bigger. The world is a big place. The World card is a big card. So something big happened here in the past for you. This could have been work-related, could have been relationship-related. In the future, you have this Knight of Wands, which is all about kind of, this is another card of talent. It's oftentimes, I describe it as like the maverick of the tarot, because the Knight of Wands can do so many different things. They have so many different skills, gifts, talents, and abilities. And they're a Swiss Army knife, jack of all trades type of person. And so some of you, I feel like saying, for some of you, it's like, do you recognize how many skills that you have? Do you recognize how many talents you have? And are some of you thinking like doom and gloom, in that, like, if there are changes at the organizational level or kind of broader changes, like, are you thinking that you'll never be able to find something else? Because that couldn't be farther from the truth. When you have something like the Knight of Wands, it says you can always be successful somewhere because you have a lot to offer. And so for some of you, I feel like recognizing that. Now, for others, there could be a move on the horizon here. You actually have 3 prominent travel cards. The World can represent international travel. The Knight of Wands can indicate like moving zip code, changing residence. The Chariot's also a travel card, indicates vehicles. There could be a move on the horizon. Maybe this is a physical relocation, but maybe it's also a move in your career. Speaking of that, in your thoughts or on your mind here, what you are aware of or what you're conscious of, you have the Page of Pentacles, which is about offers, opportunities, and the Page of Pentacles can talk about your prospects in life looking good, good news. It can represent good news or just your prospects in life looking good. And it's typically related to something material. Maybe this is an apartment, you know, think like down payments, think like, offer sheets, letters, contracts, stuff like that can come forward with the Page of Pentacles. Also academia, loans, things like that can come up with the Page of Pentacles. But it says that you have a good prospect in life somewhere. And I think some of you are, over the next 4.5 months, call it, between now and the end of the year, I think some of you are recognizing that, and some of you are coming to that understanding. In the subconscious, what you can't see or the hidden, you do have the Seven of Swords, which is really about, potentially for some of you, deception. If you are here for relationships, like I said, there is a situation here with the Three of Swords, Seven of Swords, Three of Cups, and then transformations as well coming through with the Death card, where somebody may have hurt you emotionally, or some of you may be dealing with a very challenging relationship situation here. For sure. And then also the Knight of Wands has a bit of a reputation, we could say, as being a player in the tarot, same with the King of Wands. So it is possible that like some of you have dealt with somebody who has player energy, or that just really hurt you. The other thing is, though, on a much more positive note, the Seven of Swords says, hey, it's time for you to build a game plan and build a strategy for yourself to kind of get a way out, or to kind of help yourself out of a maybe less than great situation. Take the back door, if you will. Take a clever approach to a problem. And so, yeah. In the staff, in the direction that you are headed, in your current influence, the way that you are influencing the situation, you do have the Chariot. You're ready to strive forward, or you're ready to take leaps forward. The Chariot's a major energy of self-discipline in the tarot, and it says you have the ability to do great things, and you have the ability to be extremely successful in whatever it is that you're doing through self-discipline. Okay, this is about overcoming obstacles, overcoming challenges, difficulties, and really going for it. It's also this idea of as above, so below, this idea of being guided, this idea of you sort of, as you put in the work, you get rewards. And it's a very good card. It's a major card of success, right? And then also, again, like, what else did I want to say about that? I guess it was just, like I said, I think some of you could be traveling here over the for the rest of the year. There could be something involving travel, or even a move, relocation, something like that here. Yeah. Now, in the external influence, you do have the Empress, which can refer to the mother. This is the mother archetype. You could be dealing with your mother, like you as a mother. This could represent you as a mother and your motherhood, or it could represent your literal mother, if it's referring to the mother. So some of you may be moving closer or moving away from family, something like this, or dealing with issues in those areas. Could be relationship issues in those areas, or maybe improvements. It depends on what situation you find yourself in. But more importantly, the Empress is about abundance, okay? This is Venus energy. Venus is the planet of luxury, wealth, beauty, romance, good looks, stuff like that. And it is possible that some of you are planting seeds of abundance around you. And it's also this idea of fertility. Your ability to sort of nurture something in your life like a mother would nurture their children. So I think that some of you, this could be mother related because it's in the external. It's sometimes this slot, it can be the external, but this slot or this placement can also be about somebody else around you. And so there could be something like that happening here. In the hopes and fears, you do have the Three of Cups, but if you're here for romantic love, some of you are fearful that there's a third party involved because the Three of Cups is in the hopes and fears, and because it's combined with the Three of Swords and the Seven of Swords, okay, as well as transformation and like bigger changes with the World and the Death card, bigger changes. So some of you could be fearful of that. You're also, some of you, on just a broad level, if I were not to combine the Three of Cups with these other cards, the Three of Cups can represent joy, celebration, happiness as well. Now it is showing up in the hopes, so some of you are maybe really hoping for kind of the end in sight, if you will, or being able to see light at the end of the tunnel. In the outcome, you have the Hierophant, another card of marriage here, or a card of marriage, I should say, rather. This is also something that's traditional in the tarot, so this could be Marriage is a traditional concept. It could also be your organization, the place that you work, the groups that you are a part of, the people that you engage with. Maybe you come from an old school family, as we see the Empress showing up here in the external situation. All of those sorts of things can show up with the Hierophant. The Hierophant's sort of like the old guard, if you will. However, on a different level, the Hierophant can also represent like knowledge or like traditional wisdom, such as like knowledge that you learn at a university. There could be something about like academia here with the Page of Pentacles and the Hierophant. I just felt like throwing that out there. I know it doesn't really tie into the rest, but some of you could be also learning something or studying something here over the next 4.5 months, call it. So let's go ahead and see what is in these 3 tarot cards. Wow. So you have the 8 of Cups, the 2 of Swords, and the 3 of Pentacles. So I said wow because we have another 3. So we have 3 threes, and so 3s represent other people. The 3 of Pentacles can indicate your colleagues or the people that you have to work with on a day-to-day. I don't love this because we have the 7 of Swords. Again, the 7 of Swords is kind of blending, as a blending card is challenging, because I've seen this combination with the 7 of Swords and the 3 of Pentacles show up as like workplace gossip or workplace drama, rumors, stuff like that. 2 of Swords is you being restricted in speech, having a hard time coming up with words or communicating with somebody. And the 8 of Cups is walking away, which ultimately I really like for you, because if you are involved with like a third party, or if there is, if there are people spreading rumors, some of you are just gonna be like, you know what, I don't have to deal with that. I'm gonna just walk away from that, which I definitely like to see. Okay, so House, Coffin, and Lovers. Definitely with Death card, Coffin, it's like maybe some of you are exiting a relationship, or a relationship's falling out here between now and the end of the year. If your relationship's going great, I would say don't worry about it, okay? Just to be very clear. But if you feel like the writing's on the wall, this could be certainly something that's happening. The House card, this could mean that some of you are literally moving residence with the Knight of Wands, the Chariot, and the World. And this has maybe been in the works for some time. So you had 4 of these cards. So let's do Commander Ashtar, Call to Action. Take charge, lead by example, walk your talk. Then you have Green Terra, Supreme Protection. You are protected, cords are being cut, move beyond limitations, and trust. Trust that whatever's exiting your life is for your highest good. You then have Mahavatar Babaji, Soul Expansion. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connections between all things, as well as Diana, Focus, Intention. Think about what you desire, set your sights high, and expect the best possible outcome. Yeah, I think some of you are understanding, I think some of you are finding very deep understandings in the connections that you have between the universe, but also with other people at this time as well. Like, I think you're definitely learning something about a connection that you've had. And I think some of you will feel safe knowing that you are protected in however this connection kind of ends up, whatever the sort of outcome of this connection ends up being, you know that you're protected in this situation. So that's what I have here for you. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe. Really appreciate you. I will see you in the next reading.